Good morning. In this video, we are going to preview the new inventory management features that are resident within the Northeast Seed Network app or SeedSource software and its companion software, the SeedSource Quick Inventory software product. Let's get started. In SeedSource, I have already created a crop of plants that we're going to use for this demo. That crop is here 100 trays of ABSH 5674. Good morning. That crop has progressed from sown through germinated to growing to ready, and it was ready as of yesterday. There are no orders placed against it. We have a yield of 100 flats. We sowed 100 flats with a germination rate of 100%. So that's our starting crop. So this video does not review how to produce a crop. Hopefully everyone already knows how to do that. But let's explore how we manage this crop on customer orders, in the greenhouse, for production orders. So let's hop right in. The first thing I'm going to do with these 100 flats is make some quartz. Going to do a new pot up order. I'm going to choose this species. It's urgent. So from PL50s up to quartz. And I would like 500 quartz produced. And from that I'll need about 10 trays. Save. Okay, with that we now have a new production order for this crop. Remember, we yielded 100 flats in the beginning, created a production order that uses 10 of those flats. Here we can already see that in the production view. So we have 100 flats on hand. Great, that's what we made, but 10 have been put on hold for a production order. Now let's take a look if we get a customer order for this crop. Head out to Home Menu, Customers. Going to create a new release to hold my new plant order. All right, so here's my test order here. Let's expand that test order. Okay, you can see that it's a brand new order and has no line items. So let's add a line item to this test order. The software shows that I have that species available in PL50s. So let's select that. It shows that we have 90 available in ready state. We have 0 in growing not ready, 0 in germed, 0 in sown. For this order, I want 50 trays of these PL50s. So now my test order here has one line item on it, 50 trays of those PL50s. We can click in and take a look. A couple of things you notice is there's no crop status being displayed. That's because we haven't chosen a crop to apply to this order yet. It does show that we have 90 trays available. Remember, that's the 100 trays that we produced, less the 10 that are on our production order to make quartz. Build these from inventory. The order is for 50 here, so I'm going to place a hold for this line item using this crop. And there it is. It even says that we have 90 available. Wonderful. Now when I select this crop to apply to this line item, you can see here that it instantly deducts these 50 trays from our previously available 90 trays. If we go back and we take a look at that product in inventory, you can see now that the software is telling us we have 40 available to use for additional production orders or for customer orders. Let's do another production order for another 500 quartz. So a new pot up order. I'm going to use that product, PL50s to quartz, and I want 500 of them, which means I need about 10 trays of the PL50s, and save. Okay, so now we have two production orders, identical, but the most important thing, the software shows you that you now have 70 of your 100 flats on hold. 20 flats are for these production orders and the 50 flats are for a customer order. We have 30 available. All right, now let's explore how to use the quick inventory application. Quick inventory application is very small and very light and very fast. Excellent for using with a phone or tablet in the greenhouses to manage your inventory. There's ABSH 5674, we have 100 on hand. Now, the quick inventory application is just a physical inventory system. It does not have access to the full listing of your customer orders or production orders or anything else. It is just a simple tool like associates use in a grocery store or a gas station to just walk through the aisles and take inventory. So for this particular crop, it was previously marked as being in house 1A. So I went there. Lo and behold, when I take a look at the crop, there was some animal damage, there was some overwatering, maybe some underwatering, and in my assessment we don't have 100 on hand anymore, we just have 90. So I'm just going to go in and change my on-hand inventory to 90. Come back over to SeedSource and we'll sync that up a little bit, and there we go. So the yield quantity was reduced from 100 to 90, not in SeedSource, but over here in the SeedSource Quick Inventory application. Right? So they are very much connected. The changes you make in the SeedSource Quick Inventory are instantly reflected in SeedSource. So that loss of 10 flats in the greenhouses now makes only 20 trays available. So let's take a look next at what happens when we ship that order with the 50 trays. Recent releases. Here's the test order. If you're not familiar with the recent sub-OM button, it's an extremely handy feature. Sorts all of your orders in descending order from the last time that they were updated. So when you are flipping back and forth between screens and you quickly want to return to an order that you were working on, chances are it's going to be up here in the top 5 or top 10. My test order is right here at top. Very convenient. Let's click in. Take a look at this order. So it's no longer an inquiry. That sub-OM is confirmed. In fact, we're going to ship it a day early. 50 trays of PL50s from inventory. We've selected the product code. It shows we have 20 left. It all looks fine. So back here at the order level, mark the order as confirmed and the ship date's confirmed. Mark the sales status as being shipped, which means it's either has shipped or is about to ship imminently. I get this really cool magic button that says ship all, and what that does is it ships the order, it ships the line items, and does a lot of inventory management for you in the back end. So let's click it and take a look to see what it does. This action will set all eyes to shipped. This does queue up a bunch of activities in the back end. Some of them are computationally intensive, so all right, one left. There we go. Now I'm going to take a quick peek in the back end. All right, so here is the inventory record here in the back end for this particular crop. You can see that we sowed 100 and we had originally a yield of 100, but we reduced that due to 10 lost trays in the greenhouses down to 90, and we just shipped an order with 50 trays, which reduces our yield quantity or our on-hand quantity down to 40. All right, now let's hop back into production and see what our inventory numbers show. All right, here's our ABSH 5674. All right, we see our seed lot and our C lot. Our sow record label shows we have 20 available. And they're in the ready state. It says that they're ready here and ready here. We sowed 100. We had a yield of 40. So that's the 100 less the 10 we lost in production, less the 50 that we shipped, which gets us 20 available. There are 20 on hold, so 20 plus 20 equals 40, and then the on-hand calculation is 40. And we'll talk in a bit about the differences between the on-hand and the yield. Everything is actually looking great. So we did 100, we lost the 10, but we had the 100 minus the 10, which is 90. We shipped the 50 here. That yields us the 40 less the 20 that are on hold for the 2 production orders, which gives us an available number of flats of 20. So all the math is working really nicely. We didn't have to manually adjust inventory to account for shipping. That's now being handled automatically with the new inventory system, which is based in the SeedSource Quick Inventory application. Let's dig a little bit deeper and see what else we can learn. Let's actually ship another 20 flats and see if our available drops to 0. So let's go back to our test order. ABs Schistensis. It says we have PL50s available. It won't tell us how many until we select it. There we go. We have 20 in ready state, 0 in growing not ready, germed and sown. And let's take the remainder of the 20 available flats. Provide this order from inventory, not from seed. There's the 20 available. I'm going to take all remaining 20, select that crop to fulfill. Now you can see the available number of flats for that crop is now 0, which is what we expect it to be. Looking great. There's our 20. Everything is green. I like it a lot. So let's ship this thing. So delivery method is shipped. We're going to mark it as shipped and then press our magic ship all button, which will do all of our inventory manipulations for us. Here we go. All right, we can see right away that it's all looking pretty good in here. So we shipped 70 trays, 50 on one order, 20 on another. We have 20 on hand, and those 20 have been reserved for production orders, which means we should have 0 available. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Green dots turned yellow just to alert you that your inventory is getting a little bit low in this crop. But all of that inventory management functionality is being handled by the software, greatly minimizing any manual manipulations. The critical functionality to make all of this work is, first of all, to have accurate inventory in the SeedSource Quick Inventory application, which I'll walk you through, and then using your crops, using your inventory to place holds on customer products, and pressing the ship all button when it ships. The software will take care of all of your inventory calculations for you. Now let's take a look at the SeedSource Quick Inventory app. A few buttons on the side. The Igloo, this is your house selector. This is what our house setup looks like. Yours will be different. You can select a house of any kind, click on a zone, and that will give you a list of species that are supposedly held in inventory, in that location. And it makes the inventorying process a little bit easier. So this button here, house inventory, it shows me all the inventory that's supposed to be in house 1, zone A. If I want to see a different house and zone, I can go to the Igloo, click house 3 in zone B, flip back, and here we go. Here's a list of all the inventory that's in house 3, zone B. Very convenient. Now there are some other buttons that you should be made aware of. There is a missing crops button, so this is new. So this gives you a list of all of your production that has theoretically some inventory, but for which there is no house or zone information. So this usually means that a crop was produced and put out into the houses without someone marking where it resides. So this is a quick and easy way for you to find a crop and set it up in the house where it belongs. There is a all house inventory view. So this ignores your house selector selections. It just shows you all your inventory, irrespective of the house and zone. So it can be properly completed like this one, or it can be blank, but this shows you everything. So if you're looking for a crop and can't find it because it's not been placed in a location, you can search across all your inventory. So for example, this is our test crop. It just pops right up. So this house inventory manager is basically the same as the house inventory, but it also shows you D&E crops. D&E means does not exist. So D&E means does not exist. So in the case when someone who is doing inventory can't find a crop and mistakenly marks it as D&E, which means they can't find it, that crop is not lost forever. You should be able to find it in the house inventory manager. There's also an all house inventory manager view, which if you're a nursery manager, you should have access to. This will show you a listing of all of the inventory that the system says that you should have based on your production records. There are likely going to be many D&Es in this list. Once you confirm that those crops no longer exist, they can be deleted. So the spreadsheet mode has been enabled for this view. You click the pencil button over here in the upper right, and it allows you to either change the status to say you did find this crop and you just want to quickly mark it, say, as ready. Instead of D&E, you can just do this in the spreadsheet mode. Remember to hit save after exiting spreadsheet mode. Or if you just want to delete your D&E records, like these look like malformed records, you can just click, 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 and press the delete button, and it will remove those old crops or defunct crops or malformed crops from your inventory records altogether. Remember, when you delete, there is no way to undo that, so please be sure that you are in fact deleting crops that do not exist in reality and not just because someone marked them as such. So that's a quick tour of the expanded functionality in the Quick Inventory software. There's also the substatus editor, so you can now establish different substatuses based on your 5 main growing status buttons. So for example, if a crop is in the growing stage, you can select from any of the substatuses, which in this case is a month, which forecasts when that crop might actually turn ready. If you're in the ready status, then there are additional descriptions that you can apply: retail ready, rooted, vernalized, failure reasons, and so on. So this is a configurable substatus editor by organization, so you can establish your own set of rules here. It becomes handy when you're doing inventory because you can collect additional information while you're engaged in that process. So here is our test crop, our 20 flats on hand. It's in the ready stage, or in the ready status. Here are the substatuses, so these are retail ready, ready to go. If I were to choose growing, then I can say, well, they are going to be ready in April. All right, so this is how you use your substatus buttons, which is really handy. If a crop is not looking the best, you can flag it as looking crappy. And over time, there will be additional features added to this panel to make accurate inventory as fast and as effective as possible. Do note that the ability to delete all inventory records and reproduce all of the production records has been removed. The Quick Inventory application is based purely on your production records, so your nursery producers, your production manager, must be doing their job accurately, and if they are, then whoever is managing your inventory, it is their responsibility to manage that information going forward, which means doing physical inventory every few weeks, updating its status so that other people can see, choosing a substatus, and confirming its actual physical location. All right, so that concludes this training video. Thanks a lot for watching. Feel free to give Mark or Drew a call at any time, and we can answer additional questions for you. Thanks.